Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, thank you for joining us today for introduction of Primavera P6. This is second session of free webinar by PCSS after scheduling and controlling on last session. You can ask during Q&A session later, and we also have a chat feature in this webinar for you to type your questions, and you will be assisted by our representative. Okay, here I would like to pass this session to our presenter, Muhammad Khairun, to start his session. Okay, Kai.
Hello, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to our free thanks Flora. Hi guys, welcome to our webinar. So solution architect for PCSS. So I've been working in a project since 9 years ago, and the industry that I involved is electrical construction, civil and structure projects, highway projects, and some small projects. So right now, my certification is I holding a Primavera P6 Enterprise Project Portfolio Management at Certified Implementation Specialist. My current role in PCSS is I provide trainings, technical support, and consultation services to our clients. And other software that I'm currently use is Synchro Pro software. So a little bit about myself. Coming from a small town in Cebu, Sarawak, I started my career in Miri, where I became to create because of my background as a civil engineer. I'm sure you guys will find that very similar to your experience. Okay, during this time, I'm using a different planning tools until one day, one of my colleague tell me that if you want to become a good planning engineer, you need to learn P6 because it can help you. So now in 2012, you will it's hard for you to get to know P6 because if you are not inside oil and gas sector, you will not find opportunity to use P6. So fast forward in the now the environment has changed and a lot in the past few years, where our government already start adapting P6 Primavera P6 software in their project and monitoring. So it's not only concentrated in the oil and gas sector, is currently all the other industry is start using P6 also. And nowadays the information coverage is also very wide. So most of you guys can explore these planning tools yourself by using internet. Whereas last time it's very hard and not many people have smartphone. So hence by using this platform here, we would like to give we allow opportunity for participants who are about to embark into or are already involved in the project and project management to get insight info of Primavera P6 software. Here are the topics for today. So this is our second series of more to come webinar, and if you want to check now, and don't forget to subscribe and follow our social media. So we will go one by one into this topic, but before that, I would like to give a brief history of Primavera P6 software. So if you guys have noticed, this is the icon of the software. So as you know, it is a planning tool for project planning, tracking, and managing multiple projects. Do you know that P6 started in 1996 from the Eagle Ray software system? So this is the company that started the standalone version of P6. So in 1999, Primavera acquired Eagle Ray software. So from 1999 to 2007, there's a lot of improvement that Primavera has to Eagle Ray software, mainly to make the software enterprise software where it can handle multiple projects, and then it's accessible from user for it's accessible for a lot of user at one release version P6. They start to call it Primavera P6. Before that, that is P3. So they come out with the version 6, version 7, and version 8 from 2000 Primavera. So they name it as Oracle Primavera software. So Oracle so after that in 2015 P6 name is retained, but the versioning changed from to years. So it starts off with version 15.1 to until now. The latest version is and not suitable for small projects. And also with the enterprise structure, it can also handle multiple projects at the same time. So how P6 can handle multiple projects at the same time? So we need to know how P6 handle the project. So if you look at the picture that I show you guys right now, this is my where I this is my folder where I keep all of my project. Right. So the project is scattered into a form that very hard for me to say is which project is about to finish. So there is no info that I can gather from this folder. So if I want to gather this information, I will need to use uh, uh, Excel file and then create a summary, and then I can get information from each folder into that Excel summary file. So that take a lot of work to do. So in P6, they introduced the enterprise project structure. So in P6, you have a hierarchy in EPS, that is a hierarchy used to organize a project. So what it gives you the foundation for enterprise-wide project management, access to project priorities, scope, budget, and resource information across the enterprise. And then it also enable the user to manage project multiple project at the same time, or manage one project at the same at a time. So how this structure looks like. So it looks like this, more to like a pyramid uh, structure. So the base of the EPS, we call it as a root, and the next level of the EPS, we call it as a node. All right. So underneath each node, we have a project. So you can store a project underneath each of different nodes. So how can we to applicable how can this applicable to our project? Let's say that this is our company. So your company is the first level of the EPS, and then you have a department. Let's say that you have construction and renovation department. And underneath the construction, you divide into areas, into northern and central region. So I hope this can give you a picture how this EPS work. So let's say that for each of the project is uh, one 10,000 cost of the project. So project A is 10,000, project B is 10,000, project C is 10,000, D, A, and F. So if you want to analyze the project as a whole, the data will summarize up to the root level. So at the root level, PCSS here, you can summarize the total cost of the project. So if you handle the project individually, so you can see the summary of the cost will only up until each of the also up until this node. Yeah. So you can have information of northern, or you have the information of the construction department cost, and also you have the summary cost inside the PCSS here level 1. So how does this translate in uh, can see in P6? You can see here we create the same structure just now. All right, and then in P6 you can see the total cost for each of the project like this. Yeah, so overall PCSS here will have 60,000 for all of the project that they involve, but you can go down to see each of department. So if department construction, here they have 50,000 cost, budget cost, and then renovation here is 10,000. So this is the wide project management structure, right? So ultimately, you in P6, these are the structure. You have the EPS level here to handle the project, and within the project, you will have the WBS structure, and WBS structure here, you will have activity underneath it, and you can also assign steps for your activity. So ultimately, this is the structure. So the one that we will do today is from this project and underneath here until activity definition. So before we go to creating a project, we need to understand how P6 navigation and layout works. So when you log into P6, you will have this kind of logging, right? In the latest version, it will have a newer, fresh UI look. But because I'm using 16.1, so my example is using 16.1 version. All right. When you first log in, you will see the EPS structure, just like what I present just now in the previous slide. All right. You see the EPS structure here. Sorry, there is a internet connection problem. So continue. Okay. On the toolbar to help you to access the feature uh, easily. So the toolbar is as shown as inside this slide here. All right, non-labor you can consider as equipment. All right, so the next window that we have inside P6 is when you have create a project, you will go to WBS window and then you create the WBS element and then you have activity window. After you have this layout will help you to do the planning of your project. So let's move on to creating a project. So to create a project, before we create any project, we need to understand the principles of the scheduling uh, and controlling. So with that, I usually emphasize on understanding of project management lifecycle, because if by using the project management lifecycle, it will become your guideline when you are using P6 software. So in the project management lifecycle, you have initiating process, you have for this part of webinar, we only cover initiating process and planning process at the moment. So in the initiating process, we will try to gather the information of the project, who and then organization commitment, who will be handling this project, and then team development, what are the resources needed for the project. And then in the planning process, we'll go to the scope definition, where we need to know what are deliverables of our project, and then turn that deliverables into our work breakdown structure. And then we go to the activity definition, where we will decide what are the activity for that we need to do in order for us to deliver the deliverables. All right. And then after that, we do a scheduling development, where we assign a relationship between the activities. Okay. So our webinar today will cover up until schedule development, and after this, we will go to the resource, cost, and others. Right. Let's move on. So what the so to create a project, we need to have a project lah. So let's say that we have this project, a small project, just for the sake of this uh, webinar. uh, we are doing a living room renovation, right? So as you can see here, the living room have existing wallpaper, and also the tiles is carpet, or is concrete. There is no tiles, so we just need to do some renovation so that it will look like the one on the right side of the picture. So before creating project, we need to decide where to park this project. So in P6, we will park this project underneath APS. So we decide, for example, for this, we decide to put this project underneath the renovation APS. So to create a project, we need information such as what is the project ID, project name, start date, and finish date of the project. And then once you have created the project, then you need to come out with the deliverables. So what are the deliverables in order for you to hand over the project? So for this small project, the deliverables is only flooring and painting. And then underneath it, we decide the activity for flooring is prepare floor for the tile, and then lay floor tiles, fill the tile grout. For painting, scrap all the paper, white taping, pen layout, and painting wall. So after you have created a project, next thing that you need to do is to create the project calendar. So project calendar is an important part of the project, because uh, it is used to calculate the activity duration. So if you don't include any public holiday, for example, so you will miss out you miss out one day lah, I would say, because ultimately, if there is a public holiday, you can't work on that particular day, or, or etc. So in P6, if you create a calendar, it will look like this, right? The dark gray mean there is non-working days. White white area For example, right now there is no white, but light gray dates is a standard working days. For example, for this project we're using 5 days work week without any public holiday. Right? So this is the calendar will look like this. So to create a project, first we need to click at this icon here. So you can see if you can see my cursor here, my icon will click at the plus button here, and then the project create a new project wizard will come out. And then it will ask you to select an EPS structure that you want to park this project into, right? So let's say that I will park this project underneath the renovation. So I click renovation. I choose renovation here. And then I select renovation. And then it will ask me again what are the project ID. ID will be R2020, number 1. And then you can name your project ID any number, but if you are in the government sector, they will give you, or in other sector, they will give project ID upfront during the tender or during the project award. So you can use that number as your project ID. And then the project name is according to the project name. Our project name is living room renovation. And then I press next, and then I decide the project start date and the project finish date. Let's say that we start the project on 8th of June, and then we will finish this project at the end of the week, that is Friday, 12th of June. Right? Then congratulations, your project has been created. To modify the information, you can go to the activity detail property to define other properties that is not covered inside the wizard. So that you can read that one. And then when the project has finished, so the next thing that you do is you can add information that is not covered underneath uh, uh, the wizard just now. So by using the activity detail underneath here, you can check the detail. If you still think that the ID is wrong, so you can change it again here. And then status here is a good uh, I think feature for P6 where you can determine what is the status of the project. For the project is that we plan, we put it as a plan status. And if it's active, then we put its active status. And then if it's inactive, means that it's either halt or the project is already complete. We can use this status to filter out the project inside our EPS structure. So after you have created, you can check again the dates of the project. You can click on the dates tab here, and then you can check the start date and must finish by dates. And then for me as a planner, the most important thing that you need to check is the must finish date and also the data date. So make sure that if you are in the planning process, your data date is the same as your plan start date. And then next, you can go to default setting of a new activity. Hold on. So this one, uh, if you decide the default setting of your new activity, so you no need to individually set your activity again because it's already been set in the default here. So it makes your creating a activity later on much faster. So we are using duration type as fixed duration and units. For you guys, you need to find out what is the schedule requirement in the project. Usually they will give either to use fixed duration and units or fixed duration and unit per time. So you need to check with your client next time to use whether which duration type that they want. And most of the project we are using is physical work. Physical work percent complete type is physical work because we calculate based on the physical work done on site. If you are choosing duration, it's based on duration. Unit is based on the your man hours. And then the calendar that you create just now, where can you set the calendar? So you can set your calendar in the project default setting here. So you can change your calendar to standard 5 days work week here. So any activity that created inside this project later on will use this calendar. And then for individual activity, you need to have activity ID. So every activity will have a unique ID so that to differentiate between each of the activity. All right. And this ID will become your uh, key key ID for each of the activity, and you P6 identify the activity by using the activity ID. So you can change the prefix, means that here I change it to RW, and then the first activity will have RW100, and then subsequently it become RW1010. Okay, you can see it later on. So the last setting that you need to check is this define critical project setting here. So project setting WBS code, you will use full stop, or sometimes it's under industry you use slash. You can change that. I will show you how where we can find this WBS code later on. Fiscal year we put is as January, and then baseline for unvalue calculation, choose baseline, project baseline, and then define critical activity for planning process or planning. We are still in the planning process, so we use total float less than or equal to 0. So this default critical activity will be covered in the next webinar, and then we will expand more on what is a critical activity in PCSS. Okay, let's move on. After we have created the project, we need to create a project, our work breakdown structure. So our work breakdown structure is flooring and painting. So from the activity just now, you click on here, the blue icon here, to access to WBS window. And if you notice here, our WBS level 1 have WBS code the same as our project ID, and then WBS name is the same as our project name. So by default, it will be the same. Okay, so we create spaces for our that one first, spaces, so that we can see clearly on WBS element that we create. Then to add a new item, I just click add button here, and then new WBS element will be created. And then if you see here, the separator for the WBS code is full stop. So the first code for the first level is R2 202001, and then the level after it will be R2 02001.1. And then if you create a new WBS element underneath flooring, it will automatically become the child of flooring. But don't worry, after you have added the structure, you can arrange the structure again by using the arrow button key on the right bottom corner here. So now you have 1, 2. So there are 2 levels of WBS in your project. So you can easily identify it by the code here, the separator here. If the separator is only one time, means that it's a level 2. And then if it's level 3, you have 2 separator in your code. And then if you want to change your WPS element or your name or to add another information, you can always go to the bottom layout here when you have the WPS detail. You can still change the code, the name, and then status, and also responsible manager. Okay. After you have assigned, you have created the work breakdown structure, you will add activity underneath the WPS structure. So just now we have prepared the activity, but now before we create the activity, we need to, so the step for creating activity, first you need to define the name of your activity. We already did it. Here is our activity name. And then we need to define the duration of the activity. So there are different type of how you want to define. You can use a deterministic calculation, or you by expert judgment. So by my example here, I'm using expert judgment. So this is come from the people that always do the activity. So I create a table with the activity name and then activity ID. But ultimately, I do not need to put any activity ID in this table. I just need to define what is the duration, because this will be automatically provided when I create a new activity. You can see after this. So from the WPS window, I move on to the activity window. So in the activity window here, where I can create the uh, my activity. And if you notice, when once I created my WPS structure just now, in my activity window, I can see the structure is already there. It's level 1 WPS element, level 2 WPS element. And then I just create a new activity by pressing the plus button on top of the basics here. And then uh, automatically it will give me the activity ID RW100. So I don't need to change the ID anymore. Then I just change the name to, sorry, to the name that I create just now. And then I decide, I want to park this activity underneath which WPS element. So here I just put it on the flooring WPS element, and you can see directly it changed from this level here to flooring underneath the flooring WPS element. And then the activity type, I just use the default as a task dependent. So in the activity type here, you can decide about, there are 6 activity type. There are task dependent, resource dependent, milestone, level of effort, and administrate, uh, and must finish milestone. Yeah. So this will be cover more inside our basic course. Yeah. Right. So we have sometimes in between the creating activity here. So I see there are questions from your side also. Can we post a poll right now, Atika? So we have a poll question for you to answer. Uh, you can answer the poll question and then submit the answer before we end uh, in the before I end my session lah. And then we will post the poll result to you guys so that you will see the yeah, the result. Yeah. All right. I continue. So when you create an activity, it doesn't necessarily use the wizard function. Yeah. That after this, I will show you there's other way of you to create an activity. All right. So now, after you have created the activity just now, you need to go to the status tab here to change the duration of the activity. So here we just put the duration that we decided just now, 0.5. But as you can see here, it changed to 1 because P6 rounded the figure, right? So in P6, it's also allowed you to change the how you want the data to be appear in your table. So you can go to user profile. Inside the user profile here, inside the user profile, you can change not only the duration. You can change the date, currency, time unit. So for example, like for me, I want to change the day with the decimal places, and then it will have a decimal view here. All right. Okay. So next, I will show you how I do it without using the wizard. So what I'm doing right now is I press my insert button key on my keyboard, and then new activity appear, right? So in P6, and then the next thing that I do is and new activity. So the next thing that I do is I arrange my activity according to activity ID. So this is the difference between Primavera P6 and other planning tools where you can sort your activity. Okay. So if you want to sort the activity according to the activity ID, you just click on the column title bar here. Or if you want to sort by using the activity name, you just click on the activity name title here. So it will sort accordingly. So right now, as you can see here, R W000 here. So Primavera and other planning tools, you can do something like this. Then I change the name. Then instead of going to the status tab, I just go to the original uh, uh, column here and type my duration here. So means that in P6, it doesn't necessary for you to enter the information inside the details here. What you can do is, and what I usually do is, I just create a column, add a column that that easier for me to assign the information. So I just put all the column of the original duration here so that I don't need to go to the bottom part to enter my duration. I will not cover on how I add the column here. All right, but this will be this is just like an introduction so that people that is first time seeing this software can easily understand the concept of how I create the activity. So it's not that hard actually. There are several ways. So there are another way of creating a project right now, as you can see in your screen. I'm using right click here, right click, and then I just add. So depends on your preference. If you can, if you want to use right click, then you can add also. If you want to use the insert button key, you can also, and you can also use the button key on the Primavera P6. So there's a lot of way that you can use inside P6. So it's not only one. It's suitable for everybody lah, I would say. Right. In the end, you have all the activity created, and you have changed the original duration here. Okay. Ultimately, when you also will see on the Gantt chart area, the activity bar chart change. So the longer the bar chart, the longer the duration of the activity. Uh, I just want to share. Last time when I do planning, I use Excel. So what I did is I just drag and then color the columns and the row to reflect the duration. So when the duration change, I need to change the color of the Excel. So, but in P6, you don't need to do that. You change the duration and the bar chart will automatically show the duration here. Lastly, we will do creating relationship. So in creating relationship, you need to understand the predecessor and the successor. So predecessor control the start or finish of the activity, and the successor control depend on the start of finish of the activity. So you can see here the how the in the perspective of activity A. So the activity before the activity A is the predecessor, and activity after the activity A is successor activity. So the line with arrow here indicates the relationship. So let's say that the start of the activity is on the left side of the box here, and the finish date of the activity is at the right side of the box here. So we call so when the line is from the finish of the activity A to start of activity B means that is a finish to start relationship. Okay. So here start to start relationship means that and then here is finish to finish relationship. Here is start to finish relationship. Right. Next is we try to add an activity. So like I said, in the activity window, there has a different type of layout that can help you to assign to do the planning task. So here I'm using activity network layout. In the activity network layout, you can see the activity become the box like what I showed to you guys. So you can create an activity relationship by dragging the line from the right the finish side of the activity to the start of the next activity, something like this, and then it will automatically become finish to start relationship. All right, here, something like this. So the other way that you can do a relationship is by using the relationship tab here. I just use the second WBS element as an example here. So by using the relationship tab here, I just assign it by assigning the successor of the RW here. The successor will be the RW1040. I just select the activity here, and then I just click assign, and then it will automatically use finish to start relationship also by default. So FS is the default relationship of P6. So whenever you assign a relationship, it all will always use finish to start relationship. Then if the relationship is different, then you can change the relationship in this area here, relationship tab here. Okay. So the other way of if you already understand the how to create the relationship, there is other way of you to create the relationship link. So here is another method. You can use you can select the activity in sequence. For example, RW 1000 here is the first one. Second one is 1010. Third one is 1020. So it is in sequence. And then you can right click and then click link activity. Automatically you will see there is link inside your Gantt chart. You can also done the same thing. And then now the relationship underneath each of the element is already done. But how about between the WBS program here? So what is the link between flooring and painting? So you need to create from task to task here. So after fill tile grout, you want to scrap all wallpaper. So the relationship can be made from the sequence of relation is RW1020 first, and then RW1030 second. So you can do the same thing and then link it. So now you have link between the WBS structure. So that is how you create an activity and assign relationship to your activity. So uh, that's all for the webinar. Hopefully it's an eye opener for you guys so that you can see that how easy it is to use Primavera P6. And then there's a lot of way that we can explore. And then if you guys like to know more about this, you can contact our sales. Then they can provide you with the information. Before that, we have the Q&A session. I will pass it to Flora.
Yeah, thank you, Kai, for the presentation of introduction of Primavera P6 just now. Now we already come to our Q&A session. So those participants that have your question, you can share your question and Kai will help to answer your question.
So is there any question, Flora?
So far in the chat just now, we have two questions, but it's already being answered.
Can we share that question to the
Yeah,
other
as
audience?
from Edison Lim. Yes, yeah, from Edison Lim. He asking that can we import Microsoft project file into P6? And then the second question from him is, how about the other way around? Can we import Microsoft project file to P6?
Yes, to answer both of them, yes, we can import file from Microsoft Project, but it is in the XML format. Currently, it's only in the XML format. The last, maybe, if I remember, the next version also you can import version .mpx from Microsoft Project also. And the other way around, you can also export Primavera file to Microsoft Project also. So means that Primavera P6 is very much you can integrate with other software. Yeah.
Any question from the participants? This is the time you can ask and then share the knowledge with others.
Can we share the result of the poll to others? So now the result of the poll. How do you know about P6? Most of the person here uh, uh, is from the work. Yeah. So do you involve in project that are using Primavera P6 50/50, right? Are you interested to learn Primavera P6? Yeah. So most of the guys are answering 82% interested to learn about P6. So given an opportunity to learn P6, do you prefer online training or physical training? So there are 50/50 also. Some people like online training. I think this is due to MCO, right? So uh, so physical class training also 50%. Which industry or sector that you are currently in? So it's also 50/50 from consultant and contractor side. So thanks for answering our polls. Uh, we will take the polls, yeah, into our statistics. Okay. If there is no question, thank you very much to all the participants. But before you go, I think Flora have something to share to you guys. And then from me, I would say Selamat Hari Raya, Aidilfitri. And then for the upcoming festival, Selamat Hari Gawai, Gayu Guru Gerai Nyamai. And then that's all. Flora, back to you.
Okay, thanks, Guy. Okay, for the next session, for our free webinar, please do join us again. This is about PMP, Project Management Professional. So the webinar will be conducted on 5th of June on Friday. The session about 1 hour, start at the same time like today, 2:30. Okay. Once you saw the post for registration, feel free to join us again by doing your registration. And then during this session, you will get to know about what is PMI, what is PMP course, and why PMP is a good course for you to enroll, especially if you're involved directly in project management. Again, we have our interview session with our training provider and the candidate that attend this course before. Okay, so we have a true testimonial from the participant for this training. Okay, as you know, apart from our consultation, PCSS also, we do offering a lot of courses. PSMC is planning, scheduling, controlling. We do have physics resource, and advanced. Okay, the nearest date for training for physics basic is on 9, 10, and 11 of June upcoming. So currently, all our training, we do it online, okay, due to the MCO restriction. So all the classroom training will be conducted when the time is permitted of. For the time being, the training still can be done, but it's all through online. So if you're interested, you can send email to our PCSS email, or you can contact directly to the self-consultant. We have the number there. Okay, and then we also, apart from P6 training, we do have a synchro. Okay, if you know the BIM is currently quite a trending now in the construction, planning and scheduling. So if you want to invest for the knowledge in the BIM and synchro, so you can join the synchro basic and synchro advanced training. We do have a promotion price, okay, for the month of May, June, and July. So a very, very good price for your investment, for your investment and for your knowledge also. And then apart from training, for those that interested to purchase any software, we do have a promotion also. And if you buy software together with training, you get additional discount for that. Okay, please approach us if you have any further question regarding on this. We are more than happy to assist you. Okay, this is our social media, our Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So please like us and follow. You can know the new update from this social media, you can get to know about what is upcoming free webinar, the training and promotion that we have. And then from time to time also, we will update anything that related to upcoming of the event and everything in our social media. So please follow us and then contact us through our sales email or directly to our salesperson. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you for joining us today. And hopefully, will join us for our upcoming webinar. Okay, thank you. Selamat Hari Raya, like what Kai said just now, and those who celebrate Gawai. Selamat Hari Gawai, Gayu Guru Geranyamai, Latas Nawan Menua. And then, okay, thank you and have a great evening.